Welcome back to Self-Made. I'm joined here once again with Scott and Gabby from King's Cleaning Co. As you can also see by their lovely product range in the video if you're watching. If you can't see the video, if you're watching on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, just believe me, there are 4 beautiful products in front of me. We've got the King's Multi-Surface Cleaner, which used to be their glass cleaner. We've got the Probiotic and Enzyme. We've got the Stainless Steel Conditioner, personal favorite of mine, and the Cream Cleanser. This video is not sponsored. This is not a biased interview or Q&A, but they look nice, so we're going to keep them there. We have the lovely Sydney Harbour Bridge right behind us. Very nice view for today, so we figured we had to make the most of it. We already did a podcast together, but how could we not do another one with this here? So thanks for joining me, guys. We're going to be answering some questions that we got on my Instagram and Scott and Gabby's Instagram. And so let's just kick it off with the first question. I'll find a good one to start with. I saw one about starting a cleaning business, so I think we can go straight into that. Okay, I can't find the question, but I know there is one that says, what budget do you need in order to start a cleaning business? Now,
good question.
I'll start. Personally, when I started my business, I had about $400 in the bank. I used my grandparents' vacuum cleaner when I first started, so I didn't have to buy a vacuum cleaner, which I think would be the biggest expense when you start out, because the products, you can use a plastic bucket to store them in. All of that stuff is really cheap. Even advertising, if you want to get flyers and all that stuff done, pretty inexpensive. So I would say if you are buying everything and you don't have access to a vacuum cleaner, which is the most expensive, it's probably going to be around $400 or $500. Now, my budget was $400. I spent half of that on flyers. That was just printing costs to print 200 flyers at Officeworks. They did not land me a single client. So the other $200 went towards a paid Facebook ad that also didn't get me anything. And I'd say $100 I actually spent on cleaning products. So what about you guys?
Well, that's completely different. We're completely different. So we actually grabbed everything that we possibly could in our own house, filled up our cleaning bucket, our laundry bucket at the time.
Yep, that's right.
And our most expensive thing at the time was insurance, because that's all we were like, oh my God, what do we do? And yeah. So pretty much I could say you could start a cleaning business for just pay your insurance and get whatever's under the kitchen cupboard and go for town.
That's it. Like, use what you've got under your kitchen cupboard. You could even use your clients' vacuum, your clients' products if you didn't have the stuff. Starting a cleaning business, you could literally do with $0.
And don't care about trying to look professional using products that aren't bought from Woolies. They're not going to care. They just care about the result. And if it really bothers you that much, just make it adamant to the customer, you have to be out of the house while we're cleaning. Just say, oh, it's a safety policy. It's a security policy. No, it's a policy so that they don't see you using Windex. But anything just to get them out of the house so they don't have to see that. You do what you got to do in the early stages of business. I had to cut a few corners and make myself seem a bit bigger than I was, but that's all just part of the grind. So yeah, a couple $100, or you can even just use what's under the kitchen bench, like Scott and Gabby said. So great first question to start with. Now, let's move into something closely related. How do you price cleans, by hour or by size? Both. I mean, when you start out, it's easiest to go hourly because you don't know how long things are going to take you. You don't know how long you will take to clean certain places. So when most people start, they do tend to go by the hour. When I started my business, I was pricing it around $30 an hour, which was pretty standard back then. I think it is even still kind of common today. And then as I got experienced, as I started doing the same thing over and over again, I would walk into houses and I would be like, within 10 seconds of walking in, I was like, okay, this would take me 2.5 hours. I could charge, $50 an hour, but then I'm constricting myself, because if I actually do take less time than what I thought, I'm still only able to make $50 an hour. So that's the kind of point where you want to start charging by the job, because that doesn't lock you inside a box or give you a ceiling where you can't really break through. Because when you charge by the hour, you're pretty much penalizing yourself for being good at what you do. So charging by the job is very important. I know you guys would do the same thing, sure, and it's why you have a profitable cleaning business, because you know how to price. So what's your experience with quoting?
Oh, the same thing. I think like early on in the days, I think we did bathroom cleans for $30 a bathroom for both of us. I don't think we made any money on that one, did we? But yeah, I think you live and learn. You'll start out, you'll find your rate, and you'll sort of figure out what makes you money and what doesn't. But you're probably going to lose some money figuring that one out. That's for sure.
That's a good point. I think the main thing people need to realize and keep in mind when starting is that you shouldn't focus on trying to make money when you start. I know for a lot of people, you may need to make money. You may need to pay rent. You have to pay bills. But that's why I think most people that go into a business, they're usually transitioning out of a job. So you want to make sure you have somewhat of a safety net before you start. You don't want to have to rely on money when you first start out, because most of the time you're not actually going to make much money. In my first 3 months, I made zero. And then in my fourth month, I got my first customer, which was a $27 clean that took me 4.5 hours. So I made like $4 an hour. And so I always say people, the first couple of months of your business, even the first 6 months, it should just be treated as a learning experience. You shouldn't try to set expectations for yourself or, be like, oh, I want to make $5,000 in my first month. Throw all of that out the window. Just treat it like you're working for free. Do it for experience. And then later on, as you gain experience and knowledge and skills, the money will come. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like with that, you staying in your period of like 3 months to see if you like it or not. Like, I feel like it's a massive thing. Like myself and Scott, we stayed in this like little ruckus for almost, like I say, a year, not 3 months. Don't make the decision that we did.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It's also important to kind of find out what you actually do and don't like. So
Correct.
like when I started the business, I was doing everything. I think most people are kind of like that, where you start the business and you just say yes to every single clean that comes your way. Like, oh, can you do an oven clean? Of course. I don't know how, but yeah, of course. I want money. Can you do a vacate clean? Yeah, sure. I can clean inside of cupboards as well. How hard can that be?
Can you do an acid rinse? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
Can you do pressure cleaning? I don't have a pressure cleaner, but I'll go to Bunnings and get one. Can't be that hard. But then after a few months, you kind of figure out, oh, I hate vacate cleans. I don't want to be stuck in this house for 14 hours straight. So I'd rather just do regular cleans. And so you develop an understanding of, I like to say, what you will and won't do for money. So
all that.
Yeah.
Great question. Now, another question which is closely related as well is, what is your profit margin? Guys, do you know your numbers?
Yes, you should always know your numbers.
Okay. My profit margin at the moment, look, I've got a team of 4 managers, so I've got a pretty structured management team now. My profit margin is still quite healthy. So our net profit is about 19% at the moment. Over the next couple of months, because we've already got the infrastructure in place, the only way we can go is up. That margin is going to increase to around 23, 24, maybe even 25%. So that's it's a really healthy margin. Most cleaning businesses that have staff and all that stuff, they're lucky to see 5 to 10% profit. So I would say anything above 10 is good. But if you listen to my recent podcast episode, you don't want to be good, because good is the enemy of great. So if you want to have a great cleaning business and you've got staff, you need to have a profit margin of at least, I would say, 15 to 20%.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
At least 20% and up. So we sort of sit around that 20% margin as well. So sort of making sure that we're sort of moving forward as time goes on. I think you should always escalate your profit margin as you grow as a company too. So
Stuff that one up too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I saw another question was, how do you know you're profitable enough to hire staff? So that's a really good question to segue in as well. You can use profit calculators. I've got a profit calculator inside my Booked Out Cleaners program. And even if you don't have staff, but you're thinking about it, you can just put your hourly rate in. And even if you don't charge by the hour, what you do is just add up the sale price of all of your cleans over a week, divide it by the amount of hours that you clean per week. That gives you your average hourly rate. You put that in the calculator. It takes out all the expenses like wages, travel, super, the cleaning kit, all that stuff, insurances as well. And then it will give you a net profit amount. So it's just a matter of doing some simple maths. If you don't have access to a calculator and you just want to do some quick math, look at the cleaning award. So at the moment, as of April 2025, the cleaning award rate is $31.21 an hour for a casual level 1, 11.5% super, and you're paying around 3.7% workers' comp. So if you want to have a conservative number, it's about $40 to $42 an hour to have an employee, and that's very conservative. So if you're charging, let's just say $50 an hour, excluding GST, then you would do, okay, 50 minus 42. Now you've got $8 left over. So that's your net profit, $8 per hour. So that's a good question. It's also a very important question, because most people don't think about if they're profitable enough before they hire. It's a common hiccup in business. People start to hire when they're just clearly not ready, and they end up losing a lot of money. They lose time, and they get frustrated because it's never a fun time. I did the same thing when I started hiring. I wasn't super profitable. Like, I was profitable, but I didn't know my numbers. So that was the most important part for me. And it's a good question for you guys as well, because you've just started hiring in your residential cleaning business. So how did you know that A, it was time for you to hire, and B, that your margin was acceptable enough be able to hire people?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely used your profit calculator, jumping out of the bat. But yeah, no, it was just obviously assessing your numbers, what you've had already, and then making sure that we had enough wiggle room to sort of maneuver to have those employees come in and then still be making a profit. I think, we were getting a lot stuck up on the quality of cleaning that was going to be completed in the training side of things.
We've had a massive shift in structure since hiring. Like before, we were actually working an hourly rate, and now we don't anymore. So it's in the past 12 months, our structure is completely different from now to then.
Yeah, I think it's definitely been a positive curve moving that change.
Awesome. Next question. Do you like Kings? Do you guys like Kings?
Love Kings, guys. Come on. If you're not using
Thank
it,
God.
get on it.
Yeah.
God's
I mean,
sake.
I don't mind it.
That's a common question.
That's why I've allowed it to be in my podcast video. But no, I use
In my
Kings.
room.
I use in my business. I use this one, the multi-surface glass cleaner. I use the cream cleanser at the end and the stainless steel conditioner. So we use that for all of our Perth staff. We haven't fully transitioned the Bunbury one yet. That's because Bunbury is so hectic at the moment. But eventually, all of our staff in Bunbury will be using those 3 products as well. The probiotic and enzyme one is great too. We just haven't really found a case where we need to replace our current cleaner. But those 3 products are great compared to what we used before. I used to use Halo. Now I switched to King's Glass. Before I started, I was like, I don't think this is going to make much of a difference. Like a glass cleaner is a glass cleaner. Trust me, it does. Same thing with the steel conditioner. Massive difference to what we were using before, which was the Magic stainless steel, which is like found in the shelf at Bunnings and Woolies. And the cream cleanser as well just does so much more than Jif and Gumption and the pink stuff and whatever else you can think of. So
Yeah, to answer the question, yes, he likes
so
Kings.
to answer
but-
it, yes, I do like Kings, and that's why you see it in my videos. And they don't pay me a cent, but they should.
Yeah, we should. He's too good. He loves it too much.
I do. I'm going to start drinking this stuff.
Oh, mate, put it down.
Next question: how to clean quicker and more efficiently? Well, first you use Kings. I mean, you can.
Well, methods and techniques.
You want to get better products. That'll help you clean faster.
Sure
You're going
will.
to clean. You're going to clean these windows 10 times as fast if you use this compared to Windex. So, first order of business is making sure you've got the right tools, because without the right gear, you've got no idea, right? So, get the right products. And look, I think as well, just it's time. You need time in the role, and you need time to develop, which is why when people start hiring as well, they'll hire an employee and they're like, oh, they're so slow. They're taking an hour to clean a bathroom. I don't know how I can keep them on. We're not going to be profitable. It's like, yeah, you've been doing this for like 5 years. This is their first 5 minutes on the job. Give them some time to develop and get better. And also, just developing your own little systems. So like when I clean a room, I pick a certain point. I work in a clockwise direction. I go up and down. I have little techniques where I can dust skirting boards with a feather duster rather than wiping them every single time. Just these little time savers in every clean adds up over a long period of time. And if you just shave off 15 minutes a clean, that's a quarter of an hour. So think about over 52 cleans, which is 1 clean a week over a year, how much time and therefore money you'd be saving. So those are a few tips. Do you have anything else to add to that?
No, I completely agree with that. I think it comes down to methods and the products that you're obviously utilizing and what you're cleaning. It's going to come in time. You're obviously going to get faster and faster. There's many different ways to clean it. It's about assessing what you're cleaning, how dirty is it, and then basically moving on with what products and the method from that. And if you're just sticking to one method, then obviously it's going to take you forever. You need to have a method for something that's not as dirty as something that is clean.
Beautiful. All right. Next question. Do you use AI in the business?
What kind of question is that? Do you use cleaning products in the business? Of course we use AI in the business.
What type of AI?
Yeah,
you can't really get by without using AI in 2025. I mean, if you're not, you can, but you're at a massive disadvantage. It's like everyone else is starting the 100-meter race 40 meters down the lane. It's like, of course, all my emails are written through ChatGPT. All of my video modules, I start the framework of that video and the script through ChatGPT. Anything, like I sent out an email today to a customer that owes money. I just said to ChatGPT, here's the context. We contacted this person so-and-so amount of times. They owe this much money. Make it sound direct and formal, and also insinuate that we will be taking legal action. It sent me the email. I sent it to the client, and we'll probably hear back from them tomorrow because we've done that a few times and it always works. So yes, we use AI a lot. We also use it for location routing. So when we schedule our jobs, inside Jobber, there's actually an AI feature where it will condense all of your jobs into the most optimal areas so that it minimizes travel time between jobs. So there's so many ways you can use AI. if you're not using AI in your business, you're really, really going to be far behind. And just start with ChatGPT. It's the best tool. So many people are using it, but I also see so many people that are really slow to the jump, and they need to get on it. It's as simple as just asking it a question. If you have a business problem, just go to ChatGPT, say, this is the problem, this is a bit about my business, what would you do? And ChatGPT will tell you.
Use it to help you.
You can use it to help you. Use it as a bit of a crutch. If you want to quote an office clean, it's your first office clean, write it into ChatGPT. See what ChatGPT thinks. ChatGPT is like a big, it's like a big aggregator for all sorts of information that's been passed through it around the world. So there's been thousands of other cleaning business owners before you that have pumped ChatGPT full of information that it has now optimized and can now act as like your CMO, your CFO, your COO. And so I use it religiously. I pay for the most expensive plan on it, and I get my money's worth. So what about you guys? What AI tools?
Yeah, we don't actually pay for ChatGPT, to be honest. We just use the free plan. So like I use multiple different AI tools. ChatGPT is probably my favorite, to be completely honest. At what it always jumps back to. It seems to be the easiest thing, not to sort of take what you're writing, but you can sort of edit your wording and make sure that you're coming off correctly. I think it's important. I think it's obviously helped a lot of people coming into those awkward kind of conversations, like Jason said, had to talking to a client about payment. Maybe wording things that you struggle to word can be really helpful with AI, and getting some structure into your business and some background if you haven't already tried it. Would you say the same?
I'm the worst at writing, so it's helped me a lot, honestly.
Yeah. You're bad at grammar too.
I think that's the best use case for ChatGPT is just writing emails, writing proposals. I have no idea how to make something sound super professional and like the legalities of things and how to make it sound legal and professional at the same time, and also making sure I don't miss anything. So any contracts I have, I always just paste it into ChatGPT and I'm like, are there any holes in this? Is there anything that we need to patch? Does this all sound right? Is this in accordance with West Australian law and legislation? And it will come back. It'll be like, actually, you should probably add a clause for this, or you should probably word it like this. So it's really good for that. And I didn't know that you could use it for free, so that's even better. You don't even need to pay for it.
Don't even need to pay for it.
It's like using Google now, except it's like a whole nother dimension of. Anyway, we can go really deep down.
AI is a big topic.
That's a can of worms. What's another good question?
What's a good question?
Oh, this is a good one. Should I do a course before starting?
Ooh.
Yes and no. Like, should you? I mean, yeah, but you don't have to. Like, I didn't do any courses before I started. I tried looking for them, but there just weren't any that I could find. I don't think anyone was actually doing this when I started 5 years ago. I tried an American one. I tried Speed Cleaning by Debbie Sardone, which isn't even about like growing a business. And it just doesn't apply over here. It's hard to find things that are relevant in other countries to Australian laws and the way we clean and the way we talk. And so I started with no knowledge, no course, and that's probably why it took me 6 months to make decent money. But now, like, I've got a course myself, or a bunch of courses. I've got a community. People in there are seeing success within 2 weeks of starting. We had someone come through that started their business, and within 4 weeks, they had 2 commercial clients, and they were fully booked out in the residential sector. And they've already come to me and they're like, "I'm ready to start hiring. What's next?" So, if you want to go through a course or a program, it's just going to circumvent a lot of that hassle, a lot of that time. So it's almost like going through a black hole. you can travel the whole universe, or you can find a little black hole and take off 200 million light years from your journey.
So true.
You're right. I think it comes down to, like, you can either sit there and try and figure it out yourself, or you can learn off someone that's already done it and gone through all the mistakes, right? So like,
there's two ways you can learn. You can learn from the school of hard knocks, which is by doing it yourself and failing and getting up and dusting yourself off and doing it again and learning from those mistakes. Or you can learn from the school of prior learning, which is when you learn from someone like me who's done it for 5 years now and knows the ins and outs and knows how to fail and succeed. And then you can just cut through all of that BS and just get to where you want to be faster with a more informed decision-making process. So that is what's great about courses and programs, but you don't have to. I don't try to make people do mine. I just love helping people. So, and as cliche and as cheesy as that sounds, it is true. Scott and Gabby have seen me in that program. Absolutely. I do just try to help people out, and it's like a nice little side hustle for me. So
it's a good little community in there.
But yeah, look around, see what you like, see if there's any coaches you connect with or mentors. You'd be able to find plenty of people out there who will just happily help you for free. Like, I had a mentor when I started who he had sold a business a long time ago, was pretty much retired, and he just kind of helped me start out, and he didn't charge me anything. So that's always an option as well. Let's try to find like a really simple question. Oh, here's one. What car do you drive?
That's a good one for you. An A to B.
An A to B. What about an AMG?
Oh!
Yeah, I currently drive a C63S AMG Mercedes. It is a 2-door coupe. I am actually selling it now. I've wised up a bit. I want to reinvest a lot of money back into the business. We're doing a lot of expansion. We're buying some vans. We're buying equipment.
He's getting big.
So no longer interested in the cars, but I've had an Audi RS3, which most of you know I crashed, almost died in, so that wasn't fun. After that, I bought an Audi R8, which did not stay with me for very long. I couldn't get insurance for it, so if I crashed that with no insurance, I would have gone bankrupt. Just full transparency.
Watch out, guys! Full transparency.
So yeah, now I've got a Mercedes C63S, fun car, but I really don't care for it. So I've got it for sale at the moment, and the next car will be a proper A to B. It's just going to be like a Toyota RAV4 hybrid. That's what I've been looking at.
No, Mazda 2 gets you to and
from.
Or
maybe a Hilux, because then you get the full 100% write-off because it's a utility vehicle.
That's it. Get those utes, get those vans, guys.
Alrighty. And you guys, what car do you have?
Mazda 2, mate.
Mazda
Quality.
2.
Still a Mazda 2. She's speedy. I just replaced the condenser in her.
That's a good workhorse.
Yeah, she's a workhorse. She's not stopping anytime soon.
All right. Do you advertise? What is your ad budget per month?
Ooh,
good question.
Do you advertise? Good question.
Do you advertise?
No. Advertisements. At all.
No advertisements.
Organic.
Never have.
Same.
Organic.
But if we do want to advertise, if the organic isn't going as well, we have a lot of taps we can turn on, like turn on the Facebook ad campaign. Leads start flowing out. Perfect. Then when we don't need them anymore, turn that back off. Save you for a rainy day. There's a lot of free methods I use. There's a lot of free marketing methods. Like I posted a course recently inside Booked Out Cleaners for basically a cold outreach system for reaching out to commercial businesses. Scott and Gabby actually used that system to get some clients, and that was completely free. They didn't have to pay anything to use that. So I always try to tell people, maximize what is free. Maximize what is free and what is organic before you start looking at paid ads. Paid ads are a great supplement, but if you can build a business on top of organic, then you not only don't have to pay anything, but you get much, much higher quality customers. Because you think about it, my customers see me on TikTok. Some of them might follow me on TikTok for 6 months and watch my videos over and over again before they ever book with me. And so they already built up all this trust with me, and they like me because they've been watching me for so long. And so it's actually so much better to have that organic lead source than paid. But paid is still great. I've got friends that built really big businesses off of Google ads. And
Definitely.
In terms of budget's really important. You want to make sure you know exactly how much you need to spend in order to get a customer. You know how much your customers are worth. And then you have to reverse engineer all of that. So very good question. But no, all three of us just use organic. Our TikTok is a great lead source. 25% of all of enhanced cleaning clients come from TikTok now, which is incredible. But yeah, organic for the win.
Yeah, organic definitely, I think, is a better option anyway. I think if you're going to jump to the sponsored stuff, it kind of gets down people's throats. I think people don't want to see ads, every third post when they're trying to scroll things. So like, if you can sort of back that off as a company and make it more enjoyable, I think that kind of works well.
Yeah, awesome. All right, next question. Best ways to get commercial clients. Is email and cold calling a good approach? All right, I'm gonna go right out the gate and say, when you say best, I'm going to assume like best as in cost effective, effective as in it works, like it's predictable. So for that reason, I'm going to say the best way is probably just Google Ads. Okay, it's the most predictable way. You can turn a button on, you can start getting leads come through. It's not cheap. I've got a friend that does this. He's got a $5 million a year business in Perth. He's also on TikTok, so you might know who that is. He spends about $500 per lead on Google Ads, but then his customers are worth like $50,000 to $100,000 a year. So the math works out. But networking is really good. Even just DMing people on Instagram, I've gotten clients from that. One of my recent TikTok videos, I DM'd a medical practice and got a $36,000 a year client just like that.
Yeah.
But is email and cold calling a good approach? It is one of the best approaches.
It's underrated.
Like we just talked about, Scott and Gabby got some clients from using a cold outreach method. A lot of big names use cold calling as a strategy. New Era Facility Services in, I think, Gold Coast. He built his entire business off of just cold calling businesses. So, yeah, very, very effective ways. Google Ads is probably the best paid way, but honestly, the free stuff, just getting on the phone, sending cold emails, walking into businesses,
Yeah, don't be shy.
I think is a lot more effective. And if you can get over that like anxiety and nervousness barrier, it becomes a very, very effective system.
Yeah.
We're not getting through many questions. I feel like there's still so many.
Man,
Right, what else have we got?
This is the Q&A of the year.
Oh,
guys.
let's rapid
Q&A
fire.
of the year.
How long have we
going?
been going? How many viewers have we got in the live? Are people even watching
Are
anymore?
they enjoying it?
No one's even going to have to watch the podcast when it's out. Everyone's just here.
Just watch the whole thing.
Gabby,
right
how long
now.
have we been rolling for? Look at my phone. How long is that? It's got to be like
27.
already.
We're on it, guys.
Jeez.
Hope you're enjoying it. I think
Let's
let's jump
just-
to that underrated question because that was banking on the same.
Let's do some rapid fire. What's an underrated way of getting commercial clients? Underrated is the cold outreach, I think.
Yeah.
It is pretty much the most effective method, but it's so underutilized in our industry. A lot of other industries, they really use it a lot. Like marketing. Marketers cold outreach all the time. But
With no
cleaners,
meaning.
not really, which is great for us. It's great news for us because it means it's an undominated or an unsaturated medium. Medium meaning just a way to advertise and get the word out there. So it's kind of like the mailbox at a residential place. At someone's house, their letterbox is an unsaturated or an undominated medium. So if you just put a flyer in there, you've got a very high chance of being seen because there aren't many people in the mailbox. As opposed to Facebook ads, very, very saturated, very dominated market. There's 1,000 ads a minute when you scroll. And so I think the most underrated way would be cold outreach.
100%
Getting on the
underrated.
phone,
Underrated.
emailing.
Even like recommendations is way too underrated. I think people like getting a recommendation from someone, that's got to be the best.
Building a good referral system would be paramount.
Yes.
Yep.
Underrated referral system.
100%. Thoughts on starting a commercial window cleaning business? Great business.
Do it.
Great business.
Get an RO system. Boom.
It can be tough to scale, but if you're just a solo operator, you can easily make 150, 200K a year and not have to worry about staff ever again. So
And
great
you're
business.
outside.
And you can build that whole business doing cold outreach. Just walk into stores, call them on the phone, say, hey, I'm a guy with a squeegee and a window pole. Do you need your windows cleaned? Yep. All right, perfect. I'll come by tomorrow. I'll give you a quote. There you go. You just built a business.
Go to all the hair salons.
That's it.
All the hair salons, go to all
They got
the
a window.
shopping centers. Just make sure your neck is gonna hurt after a while. So just bear that in mind.
Looking
A
up.
lot of window cleaners say their neck is not great. My neck already isn't great, so I probably shouldn't do that. Here's another one. What's the best industry to target for cleaning? I'm guessing this means like commercial clients. Okay. There's a lot of good commercial clients. My favorite by far
Favorite industry.
is anything medical. So medical centers, specialist centers, not just because they're easy to clean, because they are. You walk in and it's like spotless already. But
They need it.
during a time of recession, during a time of pandemic, like a lockdown, these places are always going to be open. They're always going to need cleaning, and money will never be an issue. So for all those reasons, medical, anything to do with medical, like specialist centers, medical clinics, even like physio places as well, chiropractic, dental, all of these are great, but medical and specialist centers, they are my favorite customer. They also pay a lot more on average than the other customers we have. So that would be mine. I think some other underrated ones would be industrial areas. So like engineering offices and steel fabrication. We have a lot of good clients in industrial areas, and they often need between 2 to 5 cleans a week. So a lot of money there. They're very dirty as well. So you can go in and make a very big impact, very big difference just with a little bit of cleaning. So yeah, those are some of my favorite. What about you?
Yeah, I definitely would jump onto, I was going to say the industrial ones there. They're good because they're always really, really dirty. And then when you go in, you make a good clean and it comes out. It's like obvious that you've obviously been there. I think sometimes when you do just basic offices, you're sort of struggling to make the difference. I think you kind of, you got to make sure the client's realizing the place has been cleaned, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I like cleaning pubs and clubs, to be honest.
Yeah?
They're my favourite.
You like the pubs?
Yeah. They
They're
smell, and then
smelly
when I
ones.
leave, they are full fresh.
Hey, is my mic on? I don't see a green light flashing.
Oh.
Did you hit it?
Did you hit it?
No, is it supposed to be flashing? Imagine my mic's not on.
Yeah, we'll go this one. Change to one. There you go.
Wait, let me see.
When did you notice?
No, I don't think my mic's been on.
Oh, well.
Oh,
go with
no.
this. Change.
We might-
Your voice is really loud, so we'll just stick with this one.
We might do a quick intermission just to see what's going on. So we will pause for a brief second while we work out if my microphone was in fact working.
Mic check.
Go check halfway
you imagine? All right. We are back. Gabby's just adjusting her phone.
Take
My
three.
microphone was not off, but that was a bit of a scare for us. So here we are. We're back with some more questions. We'll do some more rapid fire.
A bit of rapid
Here's a good
fire.
question. What happens if you have a cleaning business and you get injured or you're unable to work?
Ooh,
It's a bit of a loaded question. What happens? Anything can happen.
Not
But I
work.
think the main thing here is that you don't want to be in a position where something happens and you're unable to work and you can't earn money. So have a growth plan in mind before you start. Make sure you're able to hire staff and that you're profitable enough to do so. Because you don't want to get to a point where you're just like playing basketball or you're playing with one of the kids and you break your ankle and then you can't clean for 2 months and there goes your income. So not a great position to be in. Make sure you
get some income insurance. For
yeah,
yourself.
that as well. When I had my car accident, even though I had like 20 staff, I had personal injury and illness insurance, and so my insurance paid me for I think 12 weeks because I was out for quite a long time. I had eight broken bones.
You couldn't clean while you're doing that, could you?
Yeah, even though I didn't technically need to because I got 20 staff, but because I had that policy, they paid me out. I think it was $1,250 a week for 10 to 12 weeks. So that was nice.
That could cover your wage if you were working by yourself.
Exactly. So make sure you have that insurance. Great point, Scotty. I completely forgot about that. But yeah, don't ever want to get in that position. How do you get government contracts and high-paying clients? Government contracts, you're likely never going to get. They mostly go to tender, and tenders get swiped up by people that undercharge, and then they just subcontract it out, and then they subcontract it out. I've never won a government contract in my 5 years of business. It's a bit of a cesspool. Let's be real. But high-paying clients, like I said, identify some industries where they have a need for cleaning, and they've also got a lot of expendable income. So I don't like gyms. A lot of people like gyms. I don't mean gyms mowing. I mean like the gym where you lift weights and get big. I don't like those gyms because they tend to be pretty low margin. They don't have a lot of money to play with. They're really fussy and they're just not the nicest places to clean. So identify some businesses or some industries where there's a big need for cleaning and they've also got some money to spend, like medical, like engineering, like these industrial places. What do you guys think?
100%. I agree with that. I think, you got to make sure that you're looking out for the right type of company that's attracting, the sort of the money that you're looking out for and sort of the person and the kind of cleaning that you can do. Like Jason said, gyms are good, but they're always fighting for that extra subscription. I feel like, in their head, they're probably like, if I get 2 more gym people in, it's going to pay for your clean. So you sort of have like troubles with that. You kind of want them to not be worried about what the price is and more or less worried about how good the clean's going to be. So that's where like, the medical centers and stuff like that sort of come into play because they're worrying about the cleanliness.
They just take on any commercial quote, guys.
Yes.
Beautiful. Best way to promote residential cleaning? Facebook groups.
Organic
Great
posting.
way. Just do your Facebook groups. It's free. Post on TikTok. Start to build a personal brand. All of this is free. Like I said, maximize free before you even think about doing paid ads. Run a competition. You've got nothing but time if you've just started your business. So run a free cleaning competition. Give away 4 weekly cleans.
Donate some cleaning.
Get a bunch of leads. Call them up. Be like, hey, you entered my competition about cleaning. I guess you like cleaning. Would you like a free cleaning quote? Easy. Do a bunch of that. Next question. We've answered that. What are the best products to use in a shower clean? King's Multi-Surface, King's Cleanser. There you go.
And if we didn't have that, we'll just use
Razor. Yeah.
And also like a scraper blade. They're great. We use them a lot. And I like to use an acid cleaner in a lot of bathrooms just because it's easy. So I used to use One Shot. I'm not going to say what I use now because people are going to copy me and then everyone's going to be like, oh, I'm the guy that made this popular. Not Jason Cleans. No, I just don't want it to sell out like One Shot did. I don't use One Shot anymore. But if you're one of my friends, I'll tell you what I use.
If you're going to acid rinse, do it on a freaking old shower, not a brand new one, or the client will sue you.
How do you price your cleans? By hour or by size? We do it by size and by scope and by inclusions, not by hour, as we talked about before. All three of us are like that. Oh, what's the most important skill to scale your business? Was it sales and communication?
Ooh,
sales and communication is a very, very important aspect.
I think cleaning is a pretty important skill.
But I think the most important, I'd say all of them, to be honest. You want to be a very well-rounded, you kind of have to be a jack of all trades when you start. But then as you want to scale the business, I guess it really would be sales and communication because
it all comes down to communication.
You want to get good at closing deals. You have to be good at communication for that. But also when you have a team of staff, communication is the most important thing there. But I would say, besides that, I'd say the most important skill is the ability to really know your numbers, really be in touch with the numbers in your business, know how to understand different charts, know how to make spreadsheets, know how to track everything on a much, much deeper level. Because if you can be great at sales and communication, but if the numbers are wrong, if the math doesn't add up, the business is going to tank. So that's my answer.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
I love that you think about the numbers first. I jump to cleaning first. Yeah, don't jump to cleaning first. I suppose it depends what you're sort of looking to do. Like if you're hunting for that commercial, hunting for that residential, or like you can sort of maneuver what you're kind of doing to sort of suit your area, I feel like, of your expertise.
Cool. All right, here's a good question. What's your biggest fuck up when you started out? This is my first time ever saying the F word on my podcast too. Big deal.
Coming in.
Yeah. What's your biggest bleep up when you started your business?
Keep it PG.
You go first.
Yeah.
I actually didn't even think about this before we
worst.
started.
The worst.
What's the worst?
All right, I'll go first.
Go ahead.
So we used to clean bathrooms for $30, and we used to mop the bathroom. We used to fill up the mop bucket and pour a bit of bleach into it, and then mop out the bathroom. And we were cleaning an ensuite, and this ensuite had beautiful carpet. And as we pulled the mop up, the mop bucket went over and bleached his whole entire wardrobe.
All over the floor, like to the point where it was in the wardrobe area, other wardrobe area, out past the door.
So we had to replace all this person's carpet, and
Little towels, trying to soak it up straight away, and then he came around the corner. And I was like, "I'm so sorry, mate. Like,
insurance?
This has just happened." No, I didn't actually claim through insurance. I did it myself. I paid for it myself because you got to worry about that. Your increase of your thing every year. So I actually forked it out myself because it wasn't too big. It was only in the wardrobe area that we've removed and replaced. I think if it went into that living area, it would have been straight.
One of our cleaners spilled bleach on a bit of mink carpet.
Ooh.
Tiny little blocks this big, and we had to spend, I think it was $4,000, but we went through insurance. So yeah, they covered it. But yeah, don't put bleach near carpet. Not a good idea.
Yeah. Keep water sources
Isn't it funny
away.
that bleach is the worst?
Yeah.
And nothing else.
Run from bleach.
Okay, this is from a customer. Someone.
Oh, a customer. I love a customer question.
I need a cleaner for a potential customer, I should say.
Okay.
She says, I need a cleaner for my place, but I'm reluctant or anxious because I'm worried about a stranger being in my home. Let me just say, very, very valid concern. If I wasn't in this industry, I'm just by nature a very paranoid and anxious person. I would feel so weird about letting someone into my house because it's such a personal thing. Like there's not many trades, not many businesses that need to actually come into your house and especially be there when you're not there. So yeah, it's a very big deal. I think the main thing is just to do a bit of research. Make sure the business that you're going with, they are established. I'm not saying that people starting out aren't as trustworthy, but as a customer, you want to make sure you're going for the person with a good reputation, good reviews. They've got good insurances, and they got a proven track record of being a good service. You don't want to go. Sure, you can find someone who just started out. That's great, but I think a lot of the time you don't want to take that chance. So.
And it's a big chance too, because as Jason said, you're going into people's houses too. And I think that's a big responsibility as us as cleaners that we take on all the time. When you walk into someone's house, it's their private space. So you need to make sure that, you're being respectful. And I think if a client, client's first worry is you coming into the house. So it's your job at that doorstep to make them feel comfortable and to let you into their home. You know what I mean? I think residential cleaning is a little bit different to commercial, but there's still that same, responsibility of, is this person going to clean my space and protect my investments within my home?
100%. I would recommend be prepared to spend a little bit more money than what you might potentially be looking at, and just take your time. You don't have to rush that decision. Make sure you do a lot of research. Make sure the business that you're going with has a good track record, good reviews. Pay good attention to the reviews. Pay very good attention. If there's some bad reviews talking about, there could be a review where someone accused them of theft. There you go. Steer clear from that business. Even if it's not a real review, you're better off just going to the next place as a customer. This is from a customer's perspective. It's easy for us to say like, oh, but that business may not be bad. Maybe it was a false review. Maybe, that person's starting out, but maybe they're great. Maybe they are. But as a customer, don't want to take that chance. I also just realized I didn't answer. Why have I got 2 mics on me?
Because that one's off.
No, it's been off the whole time.
Oh.
Yeah, it goes off for some reason.
Hold
Don't
on.
worry, I'm on it.
All right. As long as we can hear it.
I just realized I didn't answer what was my biggest fuck up when I started? So my biggest fuck up when I started was just not getting clear on what I wanted to do. Get that mic out of my face. It's on. It was on the whole time. Don't worry.
You need that wide door, but
It's working. Trust me. Keep it over this. There's not feedback. Look at this guy, amateur. Anyway, my biggest fuck up when I started, I didn't get clear. I didn't get clear on what I wanted to do, what things I didn't want to do, and so I was doing cleans that I hated, and I wasn't doing great work, and then I get really negative feedback from the customer. If you go all the way back down my TikTok, one of my first videos that I posted, I talked about my worst day ever. I got assaulted and abused by a client because a vacate clean I did wasn't up to standard. I spent 22 hours straight there from 4 a.m. on a Saturday until 2 a.m. on the following Sunday or Monday. I can't remember what it was. 22 hours straight. I even called in my dad and my sister to help. They remember it pretty well. Next day, got a call on Monday saying that there were some things that were missed. Immediately went back there, thought I was doing the right thing, and I was. And then the client was literally face-to-face with me, this far away from my face, yelling, screaming, spitting. I can feel spit hitting my face from this woman and just going off. And Stacey's with me too because I knew it was going to be like that. I called Stacey. I was like, hey, can you come with me? Because I feel a bit uncomfortable about this. I know she didn't care that Stacey was there. And she was actually going up to Stacey and she was being like, oh, how shit is this guy? How fucking terrible is this clean? And Stacey's like nodding like, oh, yeah, okay. And it was like, it wasn't even that bad. The clean wasn't perfect, but it wasn't bad enough to the point where I should be getting spat on, you know what I mean? And like she was shoving me up against the wall, she was pushing me around. And so that all came because I didn't get very clear on what I wanted from this business, what I wanted to do, what I didn't want to do. So I'd say that was my biggest mistake. There's so many things we could get into with like losing money and just mistakes I made along the way. But I think that was like one of the biggest fundamental mistakes I made when I started. So yeah,
that's a solid one.
That's why I don't do vacate cleans now.
That's why I don't do vacate cleans. We do vacate cleans that enhance cleaning, but only for existing customers that we know are not psycho. Because I don't want to have to deal with. I don't want to sound mean, but I'm not going to get into that.
He's a bit hurt.
But I'm still a bit traumatized by that. A funny story as well. This same lady that abused me, 2 maybe 3 years later, this was recently, she booked a cleaning quote with us. A regular, like weekly cleaning quote.
They always.
I saw the name come through. I saw the address. I was like, that address sounds familiar because this is burned into my mind because this is a traumatic core memory for me. And so I looked at the name. I went back in my emails from years ago. I'm like, that's the woman. That is the crazy woman that spat all over me and shoved me against the wall because of a vacate clean. I rung Stacey up. I was like, Stace, no. I do not want to do this quote. Can you go and do it? And then Stacey actually forgot to go there. And guess what happened? Because Stacey forgot to show up to the quote, the woman called Stacey up, abusing her. Did the same thing she did to me over the phone this time. And so we're like, people like that just don't change.
No, they don't change.
3 years later, she's still the angriest. Go outside, get some fresh air. Your life isn't that bad. You live under a roof. You get fed every day. She gets. I'm still a bit pissed off by that.
This is important though, because we care about the cleans, and you're going to experience this if you're in your first years of business too. You're going to do a clean, and someone's not going to be happy with the quality of service that you've provided, and it's going to be up to you to go back and fix your crap in front of that client and do whatever it was that they said wasn't good enough, and make sure it's good enough.
Yep.
At the end of the day, it's your name. Jason had his name on the line. And he brought his whole family in to come pull that clean out. Like,
shout out to my sister Rachel.
Yeah,
it's my sister's birthday today.
Shout out, Rachel.
Happy birthday, Rachel and Kayla. They're twins. I got twin sisters. It's their birthday today.
Happy birthday, guys.
Rachel and my dad came out at 9 p.m. on a Saturday night. Helped me with that vacate clean. I paid Rachel $40 cash. She was happy with that.
Paid her more.
She didn't have to deal with the fallout of that. So yeah, shout out to Rachel. She might even be watching this live right now. She follows me on TikTok. Happy 15th birthday, by the way, kid. I'll be back home soon, and I'll give you some presents maybe if you're good.
If you're nice enough.
If you're nice. She's so mean to me.
Yeah,
she always makes fun of me. I'm saved in her phone. My contact name in her phone is Janitor Boy.
Janitor Boy.
Sounds like a superhero. Yeah. She's funny.
Sibling rebels.
All right. What's maybe one question we can end on?
We got a good one. We got a good one to finish.
What are some of your favorite apps and programs to help the business work without you?
Connect Teams,
Jobber, Xero, great accounting software. PandaDoc. I love PandaDoc for all my proposals and contracts and things like that. ChatGPT. It's not a software, but getting a VA, you can get a VA by going to a website like onlinejobs.ph and getting a VA there. My VA is like cornerstone of our business. She's amazing. Yeah. Are there any questions you want to ask me, or vice versa? Do you have any questions you want to ask me?
Oh, any questions for the big man?
I've got a question for you. What are we going to have for dinner?
We're going to have for dinner something enjoyable. If anyone knows locations of Sydney in the middle,
yeah, let us know in the next 10 minutes.
In the next
podcast
10 minutes,
won't be up.
It's going to be huge.
No, the
We're
guys will
live
know.
right now. What are you talking about?
Anything.
What are you
How do
talking
you
about?
guys reckon that went? Is that a question I see? What is the? Hang on.
Right.
Hang on. Get out of the way.
What is the best insurance for a self-employed? All right, let's end on this one. I
All
have
right,
to
we'll
jump out
end
of
on
my
this
seat.
one. We'll end on this one. Obviously, we can't recommend
Best.
a
I'm
specific
going to start out by
insurer.
saying these are the insurances you do need. So you need public liability insurance. That covers
Definitely.
you for damages and things around the house or the properties you clean at.
You need
Make
that.
sure you've got public liability. Make sure you have a broker go over it so they know all the conditions and the
little nuances
terms of the insurance are fit for your business. And make sure you have personal injury and sickness, because you don't want to be like me and get into a car crash, but then not have that. So luckily I had that because I got a little bit of money, which helped cover some of the cost of the car that I lost and didn't get an insurance payout for.
And cover that income, because that's what you
And if
need,
you're not staff,
especially.
Get workers' comp.
Yeah, manage your liability.
Workers'
keep going,
comp. I've got
so on and so
managers. I've
forth.
got managers' liability insurance as well. I don't actually know what that does, but my broker told me to get it. So
Talk to your broker, guys.
So
Contact a broker.
I've got managers' liability insurance, personal injury and sickness. I've got the workers' comp. I've got public liability. I think I've got one more that my broker told me to get because I'm at a certain level now. I don't know if he just told me that to fleece me.
Indemnity. You got indemnity for that one?
No, don't need that.
Just get what you need, guys.
Nah.
Make sure you call your broker.
Just get your public liability. Go get some quotes online. Go to an online broker or like a compare thing. I don't know what they're called. Like you can go to like
There's
Finder.
many.
You go to Finder, just say that you want public liability. Go with the cheapest quote if you want. I think when I started, I used SGIO insurance, and then I switched over to Allianz. And to this day, we still use Allianz for public liability. And they have paid out all of our claims so far with no hassle. So they're great. Shout out Allianz.
Oh, shout out to Allianz. Well,
Also, shout out Amy Insurance. They followed me on TikTok.
I was previously with Amy Insurance, but then they didn't want to insure me when we went to forensics. So no comment, Amy.
Maybe I should unfollow. I'm one of like 12 people that Amy follow on TikTok. I don't know why. Maybe they want to work with me.
Oh, lucky.
I'd be so down for that. They've definitely got some deep pockets. But yeah, that was a great episode, guys.
Yeah, appreciate everyone coming onto the live, coming onto the Q&A. This big man coming into Sydney. Hey?
Yeah,
good to
Sydney.
see his face down
Harbour
here.
Bridge, love it.
Loving it.
Look at the view.
I think he might be coming in a bit more often, guys.
It's beautiful right now with the sunset starting to come in.
Yeah.
Oh,
bit romantic.
Love
Nice to
this
have
place.
you here, guys.
these are some of my best friends. Thank you so much for coming, Scott and Gabby.
Anytime. Thanks for having
King's
us.
Cleaning Range right there. Go
down
get
the
some
bottom.
products.
Some products.
My personal favorites.
Cleaning.
This one right here, you need that. You need
Hold
this
it up.
one, and
Hold
you
it
need
up,
that
mate.
one.
Get her out.
I'm not showing this one enough love, but it is a great product. If you're listening on the audio, you don't have the video, just get the King's product range. They are really good products.
Save yourself some time.
Yeah, but thanks so much for coming on. Thanks for all your questions, guys. I know this was last minute. We posted it yesterday that we were doing this, and we still got a flood of questions. So if we didn't get to your question, I'm sorry. We'll do a part 2, or I'll do a part 2 by myself, whatever we can figure out, and I'll answer some more. But this has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate the questions. And any closing thoughts or things from you?
Well,
Keep on cleaning, guys.
keep on cleaning. Sydney's beautiful. As you know, you better be using King's Cleaning Co. products. If you're not, I'm watching.
Apologies in advance. His microphone is like 2 centimeters from his mouth, so that was probably peaking like crazy.
Probably peeking like crazy. Should we redo that?
Good way to end it though.
Yeah.
Get
Just keep
them really amped up
keeping
by
it-
putting the microphone right in front of your mouth like that. Good one, Scott.
Keeping it authentic.
All right, thanks so much, guys, and thanks for all your questions. That has been another episode of Self-Made. We will see you again next week, whenever.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait for the next podcast coming out.
Yes.
King's podcast. What?
Adios.
Adios.